this is an example of how the BuildSmart panels would arrive at your job site. So everything is tight and wrapped. That way it protects your panels until you're ready to install them. We have the stand-ups or the skids ready to go. So you place it on the job site and then it's ready for whenever you're ready for the installation. It's protected. On the outside, you'll notice that with the BuildSmart panels, you'll also get a nice labeling system. It tells you the panel numbers that are within each package. It has the package number, and then there's also a truck layout, and on that truck layout, you'll have the package number, how it's laid out on the truck. So this way, when it comes to the site, there's no guesswork. You unload it from the truck, you place it in an optimal position as to where you want that on your job site, and then you have all the respective panels that are encased within inside the package, and that works in conjunction with the layout, the floor plan layout that you have, so that way you can optimize how this gets placed on the site and then offloaded and installed on your project. So once you take the protective layer on the panel packages off, this is essentially what you'll see here. This had four panels thick, or 4 panels deep in the package, and now they've unpackaged and utilized some of those panels already on the job site, but it has all the stand-ups and all the skids. That way you can forklift everything you need to around the job site. Everything's braced off within the package panel so it can stand up on its own, and then you can brace off the final panel while it's in a wait to be placed onto the job site. But everything's fixed nicely in a package. All the windows are protected within the packaging, so you're not worried about window and door damages. Are all within the internal part of the packaging, so they're protected, and you just pull off in the optimized order and place the panels on your job site. The door panel is all-inclusive. The door is air-tighted, pre-installed in the BuildSmart panel, ready to go. It's being jigged up right now to be lifted into place. All the crew has to do is make sure that they're getting proper air sealing around the perimeter, which is just a matter of putting the sealant on the perimeter, just like the other panels that BuildSmart offers, is put the sealant on the OSB layer, and then it just connects to the other OSB layer of the adjoining panels and the OSB layer on the band system, part of the BuildSmart system in this wood floor type of framing. So we're here at the BuildSmart site again, the Mission Cliffs project. And in this case, they have a full basement system that they've cast in place themselves. And the BuildSmart components can accommodate a lot of different systems, whatever may be specific to the site or the budget or whatever the case may be for a specific project. In this case, they have a cast in place concrete basement, which is then, they have a sill plate that goes on top, a wood sill plate that goes on top, and that's air sealed, and then they put their wood floor framing system on top of that. In this case, it's a engineered I-joist, which is one example of wood floor framing. And then BuildSmart provides the panels here, the band panels, and the band panels consist of the OSB airtight air layer, the EPS insulative layer, as well as the zip wall exterior layer. All comes out pre-ready to go, pre-cut to the size of the floor system to accommodate the floor system. And so they adhere this panel onto their floor system, and then it's ready to go. They have everything sealed. We accommodate the sealant detail. We offer that to the builder as to how to seal that to their floor system. And then that air barrier now carries up to the wall panel system right above it. Everything interfaces, like we've been saying, where the wall panels adjoin these band systems, that is now sealed with a Proseco joint and seam sealant. And it makes that whole air barrier now complete from the basement framing system, or the basement system, all the way up to the floor framing system through to the wall panel system. Now the BuildSmart components can also accommodate slab systems, wood floor framing systems, concrete foundation systems. So we're on site here with the field installation crew at the Mission Cliffs build in Kansas City. The crew is positioning now. They have a 4-foot door panel rigged up here on their all-terrain SkyTrack forklift. and they have it strapped at 2 points, which is now clipped into the top plate of the door panel. And they have one, if you notice at the top, they have it hitched at 1 point so you can actually swivel the panel around, which comes in handy. So they have that one rigged up. And now they're trying to manipulate that one panel. We're here on site with some of the Build Smart product, specifically one of the Build Smart wall panels. In this case, it's a panel that's constructed with the structural components of the stud framing, engineered stud framing. It's got the OSB airtight layer. It's got a pre-installed air-tighted Passive House certified window, an EPS foam layer, and the exterior zip wall layer, the EPS foam layer being the insulative layer. So it's all complete in a system here that the crew is lifting in here, complete with the structural framing, all the structural sheathing, which is also the air barrier, the EPS insulative layer, and the exterior zip water resistant barrier. You can see the twin window is all pre-installed, pre-air tighted. They're lifting it into place right here using a all-terrain construction forklift, and they have it hitched to 2 points, these 2 lifting points, and it's now strapped up to a single point on the lift, which allows them to pivot the panel into place. They prepped the receiving end of this, which on the bottom level here adjacent to the subfloor is a Build Smart panel, band panel, that consists of the airtight OSB layer, the EPS insulative layer, and the exterior zip wall layer. And now they're getting ready to set it in place. They have a little bit more prep work to do. They have some of the prep work done with the Proseco joint and seam material that's applied to the adjoining and adjacent panel that's already been put into place. That's the sealant that seals the air barriers together. So they're getting ready to drop this into place. This is the second day the crew's been on the job. They started in the corner that you see now, and they started to come toward the back of the house. In the first day, they got roughly about 30 to 40% of the panels in place. They had to get used to the system. It took them a couple hours, and now you can see they're doing this on their own very easily. It's sliding into place very well. They tilt the panel into place to be careful not to drag the sealant material off of its intended surface. In this case, it's the 2 OSB layers, and as well on the vertical portion of the wall where it has the joint and seam material, they're very careful about not to scrape that off, so it joins both surfaces very squarely, and it interfaces so that that intended sealant remains where it needs to be in place here. So now you can see they've dropped it right into place with the lift. They've tilted it in real nicely so that OSB gets sealed together real nicely, and it's a matter of now just adjusting the panel, and they're going to fix the 2 panels together by way of a structural screw fastener. So this panel here is a Build Smart panel that consists of a twin window, a twin tilt and turn window over top. It's a combination unit. It's over top 2 fixed windows in the bottom, and so that's a 6-foot panel that has a twin window combination unit in it, and it's connected to a panel that's been previously installed, a 2-foot straight panel. So that's just a panel that has no glazing in it. It's just a straight Build Smart panel, which is then connected to a Build Smart corner panel. All the corners are pre-formed. In this case, it's a 90-degree, 2-foot leg Build Smart panel, which then is now connected to another combination unit, 6-foot wide Build Smart panel, which then moves on to another 8-foot wide Build Smart straight panel, which is then connected to a 1-foot wide Build Smart straight panel, and then that's connected to another 6-foot twin window unit Build Smart panel, and it moves on to another 3-foot panel towards the rear. So there's a combination of panel units, and these really help the designer optimize and plug these component systems into whatever their design and floor plan may be. And you can see how the whole array connected to make this floor footprint here work out. So they're joining the 2 panels together, and it's rather easy to do here. You can see that they have just screwed a little scab block into the into the subfloor, which allows them now to just pry and slide the panel real easily into place. And then they just affix the two panels together with a structural screw. Okay, you can see, so some of the panels are a little bit heavier, the ones with the twin windows particularly. And it's, if you have some type of all-terrain lift or a small crane, oftentimes they'll say like a sky crane, or a sign crane, I'm sorry, to lift the panels into place. Then most of the panels are actually easily handled manually. Some of these ones, particularly the ones that are without windows in them, the ones that are 6 feet and under. This one's been just this one has been easily delivered to the edge of the job site, ready to install just by one person here. So we have another corner unit that he's handling here that is pretty easy to handle with one person, and can load it up onto the platform here, the platform framing, get that ready for installation. So they're like giant Legos. Essentially, this is a giant Lego system that you plug together and just take these component systems that have all the structural components, the air barrier layer, the insulative layer, and the exterior water resistant layer, all in one system. So you're just plugging these together like a giant Lego system. By way of doing it this way, now the carpenter crew, they don't have to stick frame anything. It comes all pre-stick frame, structurally done. They don't have to go and install the windows and airtight them. They don't have to go around and wrap the insulative barrier on the exterior, or the zip wall, the weather resistant layer on the outside. It's all pre-done, so they don't have to go around the building 3 and 4 times to get this done. It's all pre-installed and ready to go. So the crew is now rigged up on their all-terrain forklift here. They have the panel rigged up at the 2 points up there, and they have that single point lift. And this is one of the Build Smart door panels, one of the opaque non-glazed door panels. They're lifting it into place here, getting it ready. You can see everything is pre-installed, pre-airtighted with the door, ready to go. They need to drop it into place. It comes with a little skid on the bottom, a shipping skid. They simply remove that shipping skid, and then they'll place their sealant on the bottom, in this case of the door threshold, and also the air barrier, the OSB air barrier that's connected with the door panel. They'll go ahead and seal the bottom of all that, and they'll seal the adjoining panel and the floor band system, and tilt it into place and fasten it like you would any of the other wall panels. There's no difference in the door panels or window panels as far as how they go together, so it's a real simple system. And now the crew is not burdened by having to install the door on site, adjust the door on site, and airtight the door on site. It's ready to go. It's all inclusive of the air and insulative barrier within the whole system. So we're here day 2 of the Mission Cliffs build in Kansas City with the Build Smart component system. And when we started yesterday morning, at about 8:15 in the morning, all they had was a wood floor frame system on, and it was sheathed with the subfloor, and that was it. So in a matter of, it's about just before 11 o'clock here on the second day, they have all the bands are done with the insulative barrier and the zip layer and the airtight layer. Everything's complete on the band that they put in. They have the walls 75% installed right now, and you'll notice that everything is complete. They have the structural part done on the first floor framing, and now the wall framing, the structural part's complete. All the air barrier is getting completed on the wall framing. It's done because it's all pre-installed at the factory, as well as the insulative barrier and the zip barrier. So now they have 75% of that done, and we're not even halfway through day 2, and they have all this complete. The only thing they really have to do now is they'll go back and they'll seal up the zip seams with the zip sealant on the outside, whether they choose the fluid applied or the tape on the outside. And so they'll just come around the exterior and get that wrapped up when they do their siding work typically. So they're in good shape here, moving along quickly. The crew picked it up within a couple hours. They picked up the system. Now they're installing it on their own, making things line up in a join, and they're on their way.